Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 BROC Community Action Annual Meeting. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. I'm Tom Donahue. The board lets me be the CEO. And want to just let you know that everyone's still getting food. That's what we want. This is a working lunch. We're going to keep it on track. And we'll get you all out of here by 1:30. And in order to do that, we want you to eat while we work. So please enjoy yourselves, enjoy your meals, get up for seconds. I know the dessert is coming out. It's going to be a warm apple crisp, so we want you to have that on this day. But feel free to get up and do that while we're going throughout the meeting, because it's very important that we keep this on time. We value your time and want everyone to know that this is a meeting that runs on time, and next year, just remember that, so you'll want to come back. But first of all, let me start by just opening this meeting today and recognizing the music teacher in charge of the bands for Rutland Middle School and Rutland High School, Brent Barnett, and the Rutland High School Jazz Ensemble. Wow. Yeah, that was, they liven up a room, huh? And I also want to recognize a few folks that are friends of ours that are here to support us today, like Jim Sabatasso, editor of the Rutland Herald, is here with us today. And a nice surprise for me too, his father John is right over here from the Palms Restaurant, and I just got to give him, because he's a real VIP around here. John, thanks so much for being here. It's a real honor. And of course, our friends at PEG TV are here, and they are here in force at a table as well as covering the event today, so we really appreciate our friends at PEG TV and the support that they give us throughout the year. Thank you, PEG TV. I did want to recognize, because we have a couple of state representatives here today, but we're going to mention them because two of them are on our board of directors, one from Bennington and Rutland, one from Rutland County. But I also wanted to give a shout out also to Senator David Weeks right over here. Welcome, David. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't thank, of course, Kathy Comstock, the manager of this event center here at Noel's Franklin Conference. It's now Franklin Event Center. And thank you, Kathy. And Chef Bill Noel, of course, and this great venue and great food. So we really appreciate that so much. It's a great, important asset to have something like this, Mayor, in your community, is it not? To have a venue like this where you can put these kind of events on. I also want to just introduce our, hang on a second, our sponsors for today. I'm going to keep moving along. But before I do, I also want to give one more shout out to the person who helped organize this whole thing on the front end, which is our development marketing specialist, our very own Vicki Loomis. Thank you very much, Vicki. Right over there. And then our gracious annual meeting corporate sponsors, and many of them are represented here. A family-run business since 1964. How about this one? Lundgren Automotive Group of Vermont. Thank you, Heather. Our good friends, of course, a bunch of them up there at Heritage Family Credit Union. Thank you, Heritage Family Credit Union, for helping sponsor today. The Certified Public Accountants, Leone, McDonald, and Roberts Professional Association. Thank you to Leone, McDonald, and Roberts. And my old colleague, Ken Godzik, is here from SimQuest. The great team at SimQuest sponsored us today. They're a what do I want to say? Konica Minolta company. I didn't want to get that wrong. Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate this. Thanks, SimQuest. Great team you've got there. And then I want to, of course, introduce the president of our board of directors. And just before I do, I want to say how lucky I am to work for a board of directors like we have. A caring, compassionate board, very professional, very businesslike, but they've got a heart of gold, and they support me throughout the year and our entire team at BROC Community Action. We have over 60 employees doing this work in Bennington and Rutland County. And so it's very important that it is led by a good, solid board of directors, and we have just that. The person that leads that group is Mary Jean Ingley, our president, and I'd like to invite her up for a moment to introduce the board. Mary Jean Ingley.
Okay. The executive committee for the year 2023 to 24 is me, Christopher Hoyt. Where are you, Christopher? I thought I saw him come in.
Yep, he's right over here.
Well, raise your hand. Oh, you did. George Sable. Tony Dutel.
Tony.
Over here, Mary.
I knew it, you would. Ray Haynes. Jason Goodspeed.
And Jason's working.
Oh, dear. Shayna LaFlamme. Is she here?
Shane might be working too.
She might be. So that is our executive committee, and rounding out the, rounding out the board is Representative Mary Howard, Representative David Durfee, Kelly Moriarty, Heather Paquette. Is she here? Oh, there she is. And Jason Goodspeed. Okay.
So we're going to keep Mary Jean working here. One of the things we like to do each year, and because this is kind of post-pandemic, we got a little catching up to do. We're just going to name and ask all of you to stand, if you would, when your name's mentioned. Those receiving what we call our service awards, which is sort of 5-year increments, basically, that go all the way up to 25 plus this year, Mary Jean. So, but we have a little catching up to do after the pandemic. I'm sure you're all living that world too. And so, without further ado, Mary Jean.
Okay. The following employees are celebrating meritorious service milestones. Please stand when you hear your name. 5 years plus, Jason Downs. Kelly Hawkins. Donahue. Ted, don't make me say your name. Rappahan. I can't. Say Ted's name.
Rappahan.
Rappahan.
Ed Rappahan. It's R-A-P-P-A-H-A-H-N. Rappahan.
Jenny Reed. Justin Stone. And Theron Melee. 10 years plus, Jason Prouty. Hale Bates. Kyle Bates.
Yeah.
And Carol Hilliker. "15 years plus is Sherry Pomainville. Elizabeth Eddy. And Rob Buckley. "20 years plus is Sherry Ferris. Shelley. 25 years plus is Dave Howe. Now, how can Shelley be in two places?
Oh, yeah. Shelley, 25 years?
Oh, did I stand up with the wrong name?
No, you didn't.
Stand up again. 25 years, Shelley Ferris.
Amy Fails. Well, that took care of the round of applause. Yeah. Okay, we'd also like to recognize a recently retired Bob Wyman for his 21 years and 7 months of meritorious service to our organization as a member of our finance department. Bob, would you come up here, please? I knew he'd love this part. I didn't do it.
I never could say no to you.
Oh.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Well, we have a little star for you and this Meritorious Service Award.
Where's my hall
We
pass?
gotta get the picture of the
Don't I get a hall pass?
Look right at that camera.
I'm gonna call you.
Yes, please.
Awesome. All righty. Thank you, Mary Jean.
Do I get to sit down?
Yeah, you can continue eating until dessert.
Okay, very good.
So, yeah, and I'd just like to echo Mary Jean's sentiments and appreciate you all. And Bob, thank you so much. 21 years of service, many of which served at the end of his tenure in the finance department and kept many of us on track for many years, including myself when I first started and needed some guidance, and Bob was always there. So thank you, Bob. And a well-deserved retirement. We miss you, but we are also happy for you as well. So appreciate you being here today, Bob. And thanks to all of you who are recognized today for your meritorious service, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. That's amazing. And by the way, she mentioned plus in there because many of these, that milestone occurred, during COVID. So we have held some of them over. So the plus is the key there. That's where the plus is for the pandemic, basically. Okay, so we're moving right along to keep this on track. I'm going to first check see how I'm doing. Okay, I'm now down to just 4 minutes behind, so we're doing good. I've already caught up 9 minutes. We're on track, Father. So the next piece we have is our BROC Star Award, which is bestowed on an employee that is chosen by their peers and then affirmed by the board of directors. For that award, and I'm going to make Mary Jean get up at the end, Mary Jean, you can. But I'm going to ask her to part with her meal for another minute because I would like to get a photograph, and I'd like to also ask the mayor if you wouldn't, when I get done, if you wouldn't come up for the photograph as well, please. Add a little esteem to it with you two. With me, there's no esteem. It's like, but this is a fun thing that the board of directors started way before me, and we're proud to be able to do it. We have a tremendous staff of people. They do great work year-round. We're just fortunate enough to be in this company of such a great staff. But the peers of each other, yourselves, nominate one person that they think is deserving of the particular award. So I'm just going to go ahead and read right through it. Each year, this award is presented to an employee who exemplifies our community mission of service, support, and commitment, as well as someone that goes the extra mile towards bringing hope and opportunity to our most vulnerable. The award gives recognition to an employee for excellent performance, dedication, creativity, innovation, and always being a team player. This award is nominated by their peers, as I mentioned, and confirmed by the board of directors. This year we had 7 excellent candidates and 16 nomination submissions. Out of that, a deserving recognition today. The recipient will have their name added to this plaque that we have at the office that, as I said, way before me, started in the list of award winners throughout the years. So it's kind of an esteemed group. And that hangs in both offices in Rutland and Bennington County. But probably the most important today might be that they all also receive an award check of $1,000. Yeah. Again, courtesy of the board of directors. So I'm going to read a little bit about the person, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you who it is. The recipient of the 2023 BROC Star Award is our food program manager, Amy Scott. And the proud person next to her is her mother. Well, as you can imagine, with the cost of goods and services on the rise, people's budgets have been strained and activity in our food shelves has increased 55% from last year, going from a distribution of 299,434 pounds of healthy food to this year 464,280 pounds of food distributed through this food program. With a skip in her step and a smile on her face, Amy leads this effort every day in Rutland and Bennington, surrounded by a tremendous team including Christine and Steve, Jen and Joyce, Brittany and Wendy, Claire and Denise, and a cohort of dedicated volunteers. The BROC community food shelves have seen more healthy, balanced offerings, more locally sourced foods, and more turkeys at Thanksgiving, more community partners, more community donors, and the expansion of our programs. For example, the daily snack shack for the young students at Rutland Intermediate School, to our very successful, in addition to our very successful summer school meal distribution that we do in partnership with Rutland City Public Schools, was added this year, and that was very popular, the snack shack. We also added in the food shelf this year something I think is very significant, what we call culturally sensitive foods. These offerings are provided to, in this currently, 15 new American families from around the world in partnership with Vermont's USCRI, the United States Committee for Refugees and Immigrants in Vermont. And simply said, we just have to say that Amy Scott has been outstanding, and we are grateful. Congratulations, Amy Scott, our 2023 BROC Star. So I want to get a photo up with, if we can brother the mayor for a moment and our board president. And you can have this BROC Star Award voucher for a check.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Vicky's all ready to take a photo.
How wonderful are you
Now, let
guys?
me tell you something.
Come
The
on over
board
here.
did this while Tom was out of the room.
Thank you. I'm so glad you guys are proud.
He was okay. I mean, he wanted you, but he wouldn't bring anybody.
Thank you so much.
We have to do that when he's not looking.
Wait.
All right, let's get our, time for the photo op. Come right over here, ladies.
Thank you.
You're having a moment over here. This is great. It's not, by the way, Mary Jane, there's no secrets here. This microphone right here is PEG TV.
Oh, we had to make a conversation.
Where should I stand?
Oh, right here, next to the mayor. How about that?
Just me and the man.
You can prop us out after.
Can we just get a quick one with your mama?
Yeah, come on up. Patty, come on up.
Okay, so we literally did not know that this was going to happen. I really did want my mom to be here to show her all of the great things that we do. And honestly, this whole place, all of our staff makes our team. Because all of you have been in there helping me every single day. And all of your support is what makes this happen. So it's really exciting and I really appreciate it, but thank you. Especially to the folks that nominated me, that's incredible. So I just want to say thanks very much. I appreciate it. I know, and I was trying to help with the video. Thompson.
Vicky, can you check that picture to see how I look? All right, moving right along. I'm going to check my clock again. And I'm going to check it against my timed agenda. And I think we're in pretty good shape here, Mary Jean. One big question, is the dessert out? It is? Heather, was that a thumbs up on the dessert? Yes. So I do want to continue, but we're going to just let you go ahead and get dessert too, please, because it's a warm apple crisp, and this is the time of year for it. Okay, so warm apple crisp in hand. We're going to keep this rolling along to stay on schedule. And again, we really appreciate PEG TV's patience in getting this together. But we have a video presentation that Vicki Loomis put together that is a culmination of a year of hard work. But I also kind of wanted to just briefly reflect back to the fact that we are now sort of post-pandemic. The COVID's still with us, but the pandemic portion of it is over, so we're able to do some things in person. And there was a time when this organization really stepped up to meet the needs of a worldwide emergency. And this pandemic required, some agencies to really step up and step in. We were one of those agencies that said, okay, this agency is going to be remembered, and most will, by those that really stepped up in the state of emergency during the pandemic. We're there for people instead of retreating, which you could have made that choice too. This one and these employees stepped up and really stepped into this pandemic relief and assistance throughout. And some of the pandemic-related programs, we were the ones plugged into it so that we would provide that to Vermonters in need, particularly in Rutland and Bennington counties. As an example, the Vermont Emergency Rental Assistance Program, we put out over $3 million in partnership with the Vermont State Housing Authority. That was just Rutland and Bennington County alone throughout the pandemic. Microbusiness development, we did over $4 million in microbusiness emergency grants to Vermont's smallest businesses, both what we call the sort of emergency grant to get them through the pandemic, and then a recovery grant secondary that was helping them move forward post-pandemic, over $4 million. We had done all of the things regarding PPE, including, helping people with providing thousands of masks. We provided hundreds and hundreds of COVID tests, and we even had vaccination clinics on site throughout the pandemic. We were really, really doing whatever we could as an organization that is community-based to help people in our communities to get through that horrible 3+ years. We're all glad that portion's behind us. As we know, we still have some safety that we have to pay attention to. My reminder just went off, and it's Walgreens notifying me that I have my 6th COVID shot tomorrow morning at 9:30. I'm not getting it really, did. But that's one of those steps that many of us take. And additionally, when we talk about the food shelf, look at doubling, 55% increase in what we've distributed in the food shelf, and this is all healthy eating too. This isn't just handing out stacks of canned goods. This is really robust. And the same thing so the budget this year for the food shelf, for instance, is $500,000. $500,000. Amy Scott and team. You got a big team there. And our fuel program, almost $500,000. That's crisis fuel. That's a state program. It's funds that we raise through things like Wheels for Warmth, which is coming up in just a week and a half. And those funds get people through. They get fuel in their tank, or the way they heat their home, whether it might be pellets or wood or kerosene, but number 2 fuel oil, of course. And what an important thing to do in the middle of a cold Vermont winter when they're without otherwise. And then we have programs that are far-reaching, from what I call a two-pronged approach to alleviating poverty. One is the crisis, as we talked about, crisis assistance, and the other is what we call path forward programs, helping people move forward in their lives. We have programs far-reaching like our weatherization teams that are out making people's homes safer and more comfortable and saving them money, at the same time saving the environment. We do hundreds of homes with these crews, and they work really, really hard, but they change Vermonters' lives in their homes throughout the state of Vermont, and particularly for our purposes, Rutland and Bennington County. They do great work. And everything from that to, like Shelley Ferris's work with financial literacy and helping people even improve their credit scores, which is a big deal these days. But that's the second prong of how we address poverty and alleviating poverty in our counties, by helping people through that crisis, but helping them in the second prong with the path forward. So we have those two types of programs. So I want to wrap up by saying basically this is what you'll see in the video. And just one other thing I want to say about this video when you watch it. When you see these numbers, and it's amazing when you see the numbers, because once they're compiled, they are pretty impressive. But think of these going through every single day throughout the year that end up with these numbers. But the incredible staff at BROC Community Action works with almost like a caseworker every day with people in hardship, one at a time, to the point where we're helping about 12,000 people a year through our doors that end up with the numbers you'll see here. So just when you see these numbers, just think about how we affected people, but it was one at a time. And think about the amount of work that is done by this tremendous staff we have that results in this great video. So with that, video producer. Yeah, you're off the hook. But I think you can see there a lot of hard work, a number of really, we take a holistic approach to this, helping people in so many different ways, but we're really responding to community need. These aren't just programs. We literally don't chase grant money that just creates another program. We create programs that are responding to a community need, or we really don't pursue it. So all of this is really the things that Rutland County, Bennington County people need in their lives to get through the day or to move forward. And I'm really, really proud of the staff, and I want to thank the Board of Directors and you, Father Bernie, and all the great support we've had throughout the community. It's just been quite amazing, and I'm proud to be at the head of it. I'm very lucky, and thank you very much. So back to my timed agenda. Let's see, okay. Mayor, I'm only off by 3 minutes. Okay, so.
So how much time do I have?
You still have, now you have 17 minutes.
We're starting to lose the bet.
Because we have this great band that's going to be disappearing on us at 1:30, so we're a hard stop for the band. Yeah. So, all kidding aside, I do want to give a nice little introduction to Mike Dunges, our mayor. In March of, In March of this year, we elected a new mayor. On his website, Mike said the following: "A graduate of Rutland High School, I have lived and worked in this community for most of my life. After a stint in Ohio for work, in 2016, my family and I moved back to Vermont. We chose to live in the city of Rutland, my hometown. I chose to get involved in my community. I had a plan: pursue big ideas, find creative solutions, and seek out efficiencies. These are all skills I use every day. I have spent most of my life troubleshooting challenges. I look at the symptom of a problem, find the root cause, and work to resolve the issue at its core. As mayor of Rutland City, I bring these skills to everything I do. Working collaboratively in and outside of City Hall, we will make Rutland my hometown and my chosen home the best place in Vermont to live, work, and enjoy." Now, to share that vision of our community, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the mayor of the city of Rutland, Mike Dunges.
Hello, everyone. Tom gave half my speech, so we're doing 10 minutes. So I'll go back into the history. For those of you who know me, I apologize, I'm repeating myself. But for those of you who don't, my family moved here in 1989. I was 9 years old, and I was kicking and screaming the whole way. We came from Boston, right? A big city, to this little community in Vermont that, to me, had nothing to do. And that's still something, a sentiment that you might hear today. Growing up here, I watched the population of Rutland City decline over a period of time, right? When we moved here in those late 80s, there were 19,000 people living in the city of Rutland. And now there's 15,000. But what's interesting about that 15,000 number is that's 1,000 more than was here pre-pandemic. It's 1,000 more people that moved to Rutland from the 2020 census to the 2023 where we're at now. This community is ready, primed, and set up for growth. And that's hopefully what I'm here to do, is capture that growth and run with it. So I've moved back to Rutland more times than I can count, but the idea is that this community always draws me back. It's really interesting, we have the high school band here. One of the things that I said when I was their age, remember I said there's nothing to do here? Well, I found that there's plenty to do here if you know what to look for and if you can use your imagination a little bit. But one of the reasons that I got into the community service aspect, why I joined the Board of Aldermen and then became mayor, was because I know about that opportunity here in Rutland. I've benefited from that opportunity. And looking back on all those years, this place is fantastic. It's a great place to raise your family. It's amazing things to do here in this community. And we have people that care, right? This entire group that's here today is here because of an organization that cares. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But the general idea is that, you know, all of these high school students, sorry, I keep pointing at you guys, I apologize. but these high school students, they may go away to college, but as parents, we want them to come back. We want them to come back and raise their family here. So that's the mission. So how do we get from a mission like that to a place where we can actually take action on that mission and have that be reality? For me, it's about a process. Like Tom said, everything in my life is process. And one of the things that Rutland really needs is a vision. And that's what we're working on now. Now, I was hoping to have a lot of this done this summer, but it's been a busy summer. Lots of rain, flooding, all sorts of different events going on. So push back a little bit into the fall. But the idea is our team in Rutland City right now is working on a vision for something that's far out, not far out like Cool Man, but far out in the distance, right? We're looking at Rutland and what it's going to look like in 2050. 2050 is a long time, but if we can set goals for that vision of the future and put it out that far whenever we make decisions, whether it be as the city itself, as a school system, as an organization in that community, if we're all targeted on that same vision and that same goal, this is what we want to look like, be like, this is the amount of people we want to have here in 2050. If we're all targeted on those same things, we can all achieve those goals together. And that leads us to partnership. One of the things that I've been focused on in the past 7 months, more than anything, is good partnerships. We can't do it on our own. One of the challenges the city has is we're, pretty tight. Our budgets are tight as they are, but our taxpayers are tight too. And to be able to ask for more money to do more things is difficult. So we have to look for ways to do things that may be a little bit different than we have traditionally. So partnerships really are where the avenues that we can create, the innovative avenues that we can create that we maybe haven't in the past. If we want to grow our families here, if we want our kids to say, hey, I want to move back to Rutland, if we don't want to be pushing in a direction where our community continues to decline, we want to turn that around and we want to grow, we have to focus on that growth. And the only way we can focus on the growth in Rutland is to focus on bringing that population back to what we're designed to. This city is designed to house 30,000 people. And I know that seems like a big number when we're at 15,000, but don't forget, in 1970, at the end of 79, there were 22,000 people living in this city. 22,000 people living in the city of Rutland. Now, families were bigger back then, right? You had 6 to 8 people living in a household versus the 2 to 3 that live in a household now. So we have to think creatively about how we're going to redo housing. Housing is one of the biggest challenges we have right now, but we have a mission, and we have a vision, and we're on target. And as we set that longer term vision, we'll be able to see really clearly how we can generate more housing in our community. There are 240 offline units in Rutland City alone. That's apartments that people aren't renting anymore. That's houses that are vacant now. Those things can be turned around. We actually, to not point to Tom too much, but BROC is a partner that's helping us find people that can go in and renovate those houses and put people in place, right? So we have these real opportunities to actually take action right now in our community to move things forward. So housing is a big piece of growing the population, having things that attract people here, being a community that invests in its new members as much as it invests in its current residents is really important. We can't forget about the people that live here. We can't grow our population if people want to move away. So we have to think about things like public safety. We're heavily focused on that right now, and that's something that's on everybody's minds. But again, when we partner with organizations like Project Vision, BROC, homeless prevention, those organizations all help us get to a place where that public safety becomes more and more founded in who we are as a community at its root and at its core. Rutland 2050 is that long-term vision and the goal. But we have steps to get there. If we set a long-term vision, then we need a plan to get us. We can't look at 25 years out and just say, yep, we're good. We need short-term plans to get us there. So that's what we're going to work on next after that. But like I said before, we cannot do it alone. We need our partners. Rutland City is one of the most caring communities I have spent time in my life. I've traveled a lot for work. My previous position, I was in communities talking to mayors and city councilors and organizations just like this all over the country. I've never seen people care more than they care here. And it's on both sides, don't get me wrong. If I make a decision people don't like, they care about that decision, right? But it's not just because they're angry, it's not just because they're irritated, it's because they have a passion for what it is we're doing. So that care, we need to leverage that care. And I'll finish up with this. I might be going a little fast. I'll keep you on schedule though. BROC, I wanted to tie it back. I asked Tom, what do you want me to talk about? He said, talk about your vision. But I do want to tie it back to BROC. When you look at other communities throughout the state, they all have organizations kind of similar to what BROC is doing. But every single time I talk to someone from the state of Vermont, every time, even yesterday when I had the secretary of AHS and the commissioner of DCF down here, the question is can BROC do more? Can we get them to do some more? Can they do more of this or more of that? And luckily you have a great leader that says we can do more, but there's trade-offs, right? But in reality, everybody envies what we have here in our community between Rutland and Bennington County. Everyone envies what BROC does for this community. And that is phenomenal. And I could not have asked for a better partner than what I have in BROC, so I appreciate it very much and thank you for having me today.
Wow, you got us back on schedule, and after that, I don't want to say anything else other than thank you all very much for coming. And one of the fun things about a meeting like this with a band like this is we get entertained on the way out. So again, thank you all for being here. We appreciate it very much. And ladies and gentlemen, Brent Barnett and the Rutland High School Jazz Ensemble.